EBC kids. Oh my goodness, I've missed seeing you church so much. Well, today we are going to start a brand new series called Crowned. Do you know what special things kings and queens get to do? And do you know they're considered royalty? Well, today we're going to learn about Queen Esther, and she had to follow a lot of special rules, especially when it came to visiting the king. So come on, let's go check it out.
One of the bravest queens in all the land was Queen Esther. But she wasn't brave on her own. She depended on God to give her the strength and courage she needed. Esther was a beautiful girl, and she was one of God's people. She lived with her cousin Mordecai, and the two of them loved God very much. When Esther grew up, the king of her land, King Xerxes, chose her to be his queen. The king did so many nice things for Esther. He gave her fancy clothes and pretty jewels, but there was trouble brewing. King Xerxes had a helper in his palace called Haman. Haman did not love God or his people. Haman was really clever and planned to trick the king into making a law that would have all of God's people killed. When Esther heard about this, she knew she had to talk to the king. But it wasn't as easy as just walking into the throne room. If King Xerxes didn't ask you to come speak to him and you just showed up, it could mean big trouble. You had to be invited to speak to the king. Even the queen needed an invitation. Queen Esther didn't have the bravery or the courage to speak to the king on her own, so she asked for God's help. She also asked her cousin Mordecai and all of God's people to pray for her. As they prayed, Esther went to talk to King Xerxes. The king was happy to see her and invited her in. He said to her, "Tell me what you want and I'll give it to you." She invited the king and Haman to a dinner where she exposed Haman's plan to kill her people. The king couldn't believe that Haman would do such a terrible thing and had him taken away for good. Because Esther depended on God for help, God's chosen and special people were safe. It's easy to think we can depend on ourselves, but we are blessed when we depend on God.
Since God is king of everything and we are his children, that makes us royalty. Practice your wave. And when we depend on God, he will provide everything we need. And I don't know about you, but that makes me so happy. And when I'm happy, I know that God has blessed me. All right, boys and girls, repeat after me. When I depend on God, I am blessed. Yes!
I need you close to me. When I'm sad, you're here with me. Help me do what's right. Give me strength. When I'm proud, Jesus help me see. We're blessed and always will be sons and daughters of the King. We're royalty. We're blessed and always will be sons and daughters of the King. We're royalty. You are forever a king. I wanna show your love. I'm loved by you. Purify my heart in all I do. I will love my friends and my enemies. You died for me. Now I believe. We're blessed and always will be sons and daughters of the King. We're royalty. We're you. We're blessed and always will be sons and daughters of the King with royalty. We're blessed and always will be sons and daughters of the King with royalty. You are forever our King.
All right, prince and princesses, I will see you next week where we will learn about more royalty. Bye.